Welcome to Winning Wall Street's Money. Help support my channel. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers pretty much as soon as possible. So then I go live streaming because YouTube policy, they won't let me go live until I have 1,000 subscribers. Thank you to all the folks out there that have subscribed to my YouTube channel. If you have not yet, please take this moment now with helping me. Click subscribe. Next, click the bell. And next, click all. This helps you receive a notification when I post my next videos. Plus, click the thumbs up button and every time you watch my videos. If you got value from this video, if this was helpful, then please consider sharing a small monetary donation to my channel by going below and clicking on either my Patreon or PayPal links. If you join my Patreon page, then you'll get early access to these videos 24 hours before they're posted on the YouTube and lots more. If you prefer just leaving a small tip, click on PayPal. Either way, then you get that warm sense of satisfaction years down the line knowing that you helped me become a successful YouTuber.
Saturday, April 23rd, 3:24 p.m. New York time. Commodities are priced in US dollar. Been like that for the longest. Commodities, wide range of categories. You have the energy, such as crude oil, natural gas, and others. You have metals such as gold, silver, copper, platinum, and others. You have agricultural, such as corn, soy, wheat, lumber. And then you have your livestock, cattle, hog. Yep. Priced in US dollars on the Commodity Futures Exchange. There are different exchanges in the United States, and commodities trade on the Futures Exchange. Futures Exchange have different hours than your equity hours. So since commodities are priced in US dollar, let's look at the US dollar index. What's occurring over the past 10 years? Here's the low for the past 10 years. Here's the high for the past 10 years. What's the point? If the US dollar is lower, one would expect commodities to be higher. If the US dollar is higher, one would expect commodities to be lower. It doesn't always happen that way. Be aware. Again, we are not at the all-time high for the US dollar past years. That was there back in that time, which was 2017. And then we made a lower high. So what was happening? The US dollar was declining past years, past administrations, past generations, and now we're trending up into this all-time high. If we don't take out that all-time high this year, end up going lower, well then history's repeating itself. It's making lower highs. Lower highs, one would expect then, again, the inverse, commodities to continue going higher. Got it now? Comment below. Click like. Let me know if you understand what I'm saying. Because it's an expense that we're going to all occur. If you have less discretionary income, it's going to cost you more for the staples in life that are necessary. Okay, let's look here now. Again, each of these is a month. Yeah, the current month is not ended yet, but it's important because the US dollar since this year has been trending up. Higher highs, higher lows, broke above this swing high here, the key level. Yep. And above the hundreds. And we could go higher. Let's look at the fixed income products. There's a little correlation here. US bonds, 30-year bonds, there are different durations of bonds. The 30-year is a bond. There are other US treasuries or notes. So look at that. For the year, it's been trending down. We already took out the low of prior year, that year, and now coming into, well, we already took out the low from back in that year. Now we're coming to the low of that year. Okay, now let's start looking at the commodities. Go with the dirty fossil fuel. Yep, fossil fuels are dirty, toxic, poison, bad, other than the usage it's providing. So crude oil, we're not at all-time high, as many people in the media and politicians are misleading people to believe. And then, of course, there's the knuckleheads that repeat the phrases they make. Yeah. Okay. So the volatility from that past duration and that retracement, we have that volatility trend to the upside. We haven't had that retracement down yet. Understand? You had that huge downward retracement up. Again, we're looking at monthly candles, and the current month is not done yet. Zoom in. Well, this current month making a lower high and lower low than a prior month. We may reverse and go lower. Yeah. Or we may go higher and retest this whole shadow area I have here, gray area, is that huge wick. Huge wicks, top and bottoms, often get retested. So one would expect this to get retested some point in time. It may not be now. It may be not even this year. Yeah, but typically in the summer, gas prices are higher. There's no shortage of gasoline. It's policies worldwide, not just one particular knucklehead leadership of any nation that has the overall effect. Okay. So that being said, if you're bullish, you should be looking for the opportunities to the upside and vice versa. We have a demand zone down here. A lot of buyers stepped in here. So one would consider if we have a retracement coming down here, it might be the opportunity. The point is there's many trading opportunities here, both directions, different time frames. South Atlantic Ocean is going to be coming into hurricane season starting in June of this year. Hurricane season, good trading opportunities. Hurricanes come into the Gulf of Mexico, shut down oil platforms. Those oil platforms cease production for a short duration. And North America still needs crude oil, imports crude oil from tar sands of Canada, another fossil fuel dirty, and buying crude oil from a foreign country, again, temporary spikes up that country's currency and that physical commodity. I know I'm giving you a lot of information real fast. You want to know what I'm talking about? Join my Patreon because those are good trade ideas if you decide to take those. Again, if it turns up the North Atlantic Ocean without turning into the Gulf of Mexico, well, there's assurance companies that have risk. Okay, let's go into natural gas. Okay, so here's the highs. Pass again, fossil fuel, natural gas is a fossil fuel. We're not at all-time highs. As again, knuckleheads are telling people, intentionally mislead them. So the current candle is all-time high for the year, higher high, higher low than the prior. Huge wick on the top. We're not done yet. Still have days left for the month. But again, if it reverses and goes lower, midpoint potential target area for shorts, potential buying opportunity if it reverses off. And look at that wedge I drew, blue horizontal lines months ago, broke above it, was a bullish position. If you took it, good job out of you. Could have used a stock ETF, UNG, or again, done the futures or options on the futures or the equity. Yep. So that stock ETF could have been selling put options, collect monthly income. Good job out of you if you did it. Okay. So now, back here, the crude oil, I should have done it first. We're going to take this to a faster time frame below the monthly into the weekly. Current week is done. Look what's going on in the current week. Massive consolidation, demand zone, swing low, top, supply. So it's in consolidation. And the current trend is working its back up, higher high, higher lows. Looking at the natural gas, let's also put that on the weekly. Yep. What we formed here, huge till, high wick, shadow, whatever you want to call them, shadow wick, potential at some point in the time to get retested, midpoint already labeled. So going forward, we're seeing if we break this demand zone buyers. It may go down here to a key demand zone. Again, support resistant levels, understand what's going on here, find those are trading opportunities. Plus, again, most power plants run on Fossil fuels, crude oil, natural gas. So there's plenty of utility companies to be tradable too, both directions. Yeah. Good trading setup we had on both of these. Okay. Now on to the metals, monthly metals. Start off the monthly, then we'll go to the weekly. So looking at gold. Gold has been very nice for the past several years. A lot of good trading opportunities. We're zooming in on the monthly. Currently inside candle. Really? Isn't gold bullish? Well, inside candle, solid body, hasn't taken out the higher low of the prior. It's not done yet. Huge wick here, potential retest on the upside. Break below. Yep, potential trading bearish down to that midpoint, potential target area. And then deeper, massive demand zone all the way down here. Same here too. So a retracement should not be surprised. Nope, should not be surprised at all. Again, let's take this to the faster time frame down to the weekly. Now we're looking at the weekly settings. Zoom in. Yeah, look at the weekly. Huge wick up there again. Hasn't got a retest, so potential retest in the future at some point. I'm going to show you something. So we took out that swing point there, that yellow horizontal line. And we also went into this gray area of that till. That's what this week's candle did. But it closed below that, bearish. What does that mean? What does that mean? It meant these were opportunities that were looking for retest. And eventually it did retest. It took all this time on these weeklies, retested it and failed to close above it. We're going to take away that swing high. So those are trading opportunities, this time frame or even faster time frames below the weekly. You could have seen triggers and been trading bearish, trading short, and made money on the downside and already closed, not necessarily staying in a position over the weekend. Yeah, good setups. Good, good, good. Let's go on to the next. Silver. Looking at the monthly time frame. Oops, zoomed in too much. Here's the monthly time frame. Very similar. Yep, similar. Inside candle, which is interesting if you take consideration gold. But here's silver. It didn't close above or below the prior candle. So it's in a consolidation inside wick. So again, this could be easily fake out. Next week, maybe it would break out to the upside, continue trend, take out that swing high, or break lower. But there's a setup here. Now sit on hands and watch for that event to occur and take trade one way or the other. Yep. Looking at platinum. Lower high, lower low. It's clearly trending down. And notice several of these commodities I've been showing you for the past months have these huge wicks on the top. Yep. That meant all those traders that were up there were wrong if they held on to it, because that was just a lot of impulse buying. They were wrong, and then strong hands went lower. That happened several times. Okay, so now we're in this demand zone here. So if you're bullish metals, you should be looking down here for trading opportunities to trade bullish. Or vice versa, break below that. Yep. So let's take this to the weekly settings. In the weekly charts. There we go. Look at that long green demand zone. It's coming into that. Again, on the weekly too, long tail, potential retest in the future. Already labeled the midpoint. We know what that means if you've been following me for some time. That's good. So already broke below the swing low. See this long tail? And then the next candle, inside candle. So at some point we were expecting this tail to get retested, and that's what happened. That's what this gray area was. It got retested and broke below. So there were opportunities to trade bearish with a break below that inside candle. You could have traded bearish and had a nice short this week and already closed it. Or if you're still in it, looking for that zone to be tested, understand. Okay, let's update that. Yep, so that's what that gray area extended out was, waiting for retest. It did. Nice. And copper. Copper is used industrial use, is very important. Typically, when copper goes higher, it potentially means the economies turn around to be stronger because more construction or appliances that are using copper. Well, right now, the market's hot for everything. Yep, real estate, appliances, plus commodities overpriced, so it could go higher. Okay, midpoint labeled right there on the monthly. Look at this. Huge till, inside candle. Again, notice I mentioned several candles have huge tills on these monthly, several inside candles. So some things I've ran out of energy and they're consolidating, building up calls for breaking out. There are other trading opportunities coming up. Let's go to the weekly. And if you understand sector rotation and seasonal stuff, some of us know gold, certain time of year, comes in as being more bullish. Certain times, you know, gasoline, like crude oil. I told you in the summer, it's typically more money. And closer to the holiday seasons, gold is more of a demand. That's if you follow those that way. I'm using technical charts. So look at the weekly. Yep. It's in a supply zone, massive sellers, not surprised, already broke this stop hunt, bullish stop hunt, already broke below it, bearish. One should expect to continue going down into this huge wick. So I'm not taking the wick away yet because the downtrend's not done yet. I want to see how far down until we have a reverse, maybe all the way down here, trading opportunity. Well, those were metals, and let's finish up here on the very important things in life. Agricultural. Yep. Most people don't give them enough respect. Look at the monthly chart of corn. There's the all-time high for the 10 years. We're not there yet. Very close. Oh. So this yellow horizontal line has been acting in the past. Up here, it was acting as a supply zone, supply and demand zone. Zoom in. Here it was acting as supply zone, couldn't get over it. Well, broke above it here, so now it's the demand zone. Went in there all the way up here, which I'll zoom out again. That's the key supply zone of sellers. That's where we are right now. No, it's not surprised rejecting it. Again, the monthly candle's not done yet. And did test the demand zone. So I'm not removing those, updating those to the monthly charts. Completes. It's very important. Corn strong like bull all year long. Higher highs, higher lows, green. Yep. So do you prefer yellow corn or white corn? Interest to know. Wheat futures. Look at the high from there. Already took it out. Zoom in. Huge bearish pin bar. And already on a retracement up there. Again, this monthly is not done yet. We'll see what's going to happen, but started that retracement, midpoint, wheat futures. Can you name one country? One of 3 or 5 countries? Huge of growth of wheat. Yeah, Ukraine. Also, Ukraine is rich in another commodity, crude oil. Or I think it's actually from fracking, yeah. So who's surprised that Mother Russia is invading a country that has one of the largest, probably the top 3 or top 5 worldwide production of those commodities? Yeah, not surprised. Greedy SOBs. Talking about Mother Russia, Putin's army. Okay. Soy. There's the all-time high for the past 10 years. Look at these huge wicks up here. Supply zone. Inside candle there. Broke up both sides there. So again, swing high up there, yellow line, midpoint. Didn't even do a full test there. Interesting. Just shy of it. Yep. So still has potential more to the upside to go. See what happens. I already have my areas labeled here in the faster time frame. So let's take it down to the weekly. Show the drawings on the weekly. Oops, I need to put this to weekly. There we go. On the weekly now. That's done. Labeled my till. Just missed that swing high. Very interesting. Look at that. Bullish pin bar, huge till. Immediately we had a retest going into that. That's why you don't see that gray area. It took it off. Already labeled that midpoint of that weekly candle, which was a big trading range. And notice these candles up here at small trading ranges, they often have huge impulse move down. So maybe that's what's going to happen come next week. Huge impulse move down, maybe test the midpoint, could break through it or reverse. There's trade signals here to be looking for. Also have that tail there. Yep. And demand zone. Let's go on to the live cattle. Interesting for this year already. 1 month was green, the other one's trending lower low, lower high, forming a bullish pin bar here in that monthly demand zone right there. And again, key level of demand zone down here. Let's take this to a faster time frame, to the weekly. Some of us use triggers. If you're more of a swing trader, use trigger on a daily time frame. Some of us take it down to even more intraday, such as 4 hours or 1 hour. And I'm not showing you that all here. Nope. That's exclusively for members that are on my Patreon. Live cattle. Tight trading range here in a consolidation. Weekly swing high. Weekly demand zone. Not surprised. Retest several opportunities. Very nice. Very nice. Again, this big trading range clearly identified something there. What? Weekly supply on top. So since then, lower highs. We'll see if this is going to reverse to go lower too. And feeder cattle. Yep. We're not just eating it, we're feeding it to other animals. Massive consolidation. Massive. Demand zone. Yearly high, but also a supply zone. That 150 is a major area. Yep, it's a demand zone currently. Let's take this down to the weekly. And if you don't have access to these futures I'm showing you, it might be because you don't have a broker that's a future. Not all brokers give you access to futures. Yep. Again, it costs money for the brokers to get that data. Well, we have a bearish pin bar here, has not yet retested. So potential target to the upside. As well, here we're in a demand zone, buyers stepping in, and the trend's going higher. And we need to get above here. So in here, you're going to see if we get a retest there. You might have a bunch of new buyers stepping in here. We'll see what happens. And lean hog. Again, it's a commodity base during the holiday seasons, closer to the end of the year. In some Oriental countries, such as the Philippines, China, and other countries that like hog products, they sell it for more money. They make more money in the returns to farmers. Yeah. And again, with the US dollar going higher and the commodities going higher, we'll see how that affects them continuation over the year. So it's already been skyrocketing. We're not at the all-time highs yet for the past 10 years. But for the current month, look at that all-time new high. So just because, again, the price of the commodity is higher, the farmer may not necessarily make more money. They may have more expenses for the feed, the water, the land. So who's making most of that money then, if they are not? Well, maybe if you get off your high horse and make friends with some people at that level. And same with coffee beans grown in other countries too. I'm not going to show that here in the futures. Yeah, you can understand, again, big businesses, the shareholders. Yep. Interesting. So here, lean hog already took out the high of last year, starting to form a wick on top. But again, holding above the demand zone. Let's take this to the weekly. There's a swing high from last year. Some people sat on their hands the whole time. And this past week, they took the trade. First off, it's a white candle. On my charts, white candles mean to open and close the same price. Very interesting. Does not happen too often. Again, huge tail on the top. That's why I have this gray area labeled. I labeled the high. Well, look at that. We broke above it and closed below it. Now a potential, it also looks like a dodgy candle on top of the trend, potential reversal to go lower. Well, Not surprised. Yep, where might it go? Well, maybe to this midpoint. Maybe the demand for the product is lesser. Why would it be lesser? Well, people may have less discretionary income and have to maybe eat more salad or potatoes or less animal products. Or again, so many digest economics, see what's going on here. Yeah, but again, it could go down and then turn around coming into the seasons. Yep, but again, you speak to the local farmers and other countries too to find out what's going on. We have a gap here that has not got filled yet. Okay, I'm going to end here. You don't want to hear any nonsense me talking. Enjoy the rest of your day.